Hey everyone, it's Brian at Pray Trade Repeat. Today we're talking about IXHL, IXHL, IXHL. As always, IXHL. But let's get this right out of the way. Today, NVIDIA reported earnings and they crushed expectations of 52 billion in earnings with 65 billion in earnings. I'm not an investor in NVIDIA, but they do affect the entire market. So that's very important that we just get that conversation out of the way now. Also, they have their guidance is like through the roof, of course, because AI chips are just massive demand. Now let's talk about IXHL, 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 IXHL. Today I want to talk mostly about PSX-001 as I drive out of the Home Depot parking lot in Hollywood, California. So the MONASH study from Monash University in Australia came out and gave us some data, and I'm very excited about it for our secondary candidate for Inconex Healthcare Inc. or IXHL, which is PSX-001. Why am I so excited about it? This is the age of psilocybin psychotherapy. It's the frontier. We're on the frontier. The stock is at the floor at 33 cents. It doesn't get any lower than that. This is the best time possible to buy this stock right now. You have but I want to stay focused on PSX-001 while also reminding you our number one asset is IHL-42X, an obstructive sleep apnea pill. You just take the pill, and now you don't have to wear that mask anymore for sleep apnea. And so that's in phase 2, phase 3 clinical trials right now, and that's a combination therapy of cannabinoid oil and acetazolamide. Our second, that's a 10 billion valuation. Not valuation. Sorry, this is Los Angeles. This is how it is. It's a $9 billion addressable market. Then we have the FDA investigational new drug application for phase 2 commencement in the United States for our other asset. I wouldn't call it the second or third. The rheumatoid arthritis or anti-inflammatory drug. I forgot the exact drug name. Anyway, it's a rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is like $42 billion addressable market. Again, so we're waiting on the FDA to approve us for our phase 2 commencement in the United States for that drug. That will re-rate the stock and send it into the dollars range. That announcement is coming any day now. That application has been approved. Why would it send it into the dollars range? Because you go from a $9 billion addressable market to 50 billion combined addressable markets. Now let's add another 10 billion with PSX-001 psilocybin combination therapy. Why am I so excited about it? Well, first of all, it's 2025. We're seeing positive feedback from regulators on drugs like marijuana, cannabis, CBD, THC, and psilocybin. But PSX-001 was, while it had just incredible phase 2 results and super effective, very safe, etc., we got some news on what the actual science behind the trial was, and this is the bottom line. PSX-001 is a combination therapy, and what it really is this. It's clinical psychotherapy during altered consciousness, okay? Clinical psychotherapy during altered consciousness. I'm going to try to put the PSX-001 here. So that's what that is. Now, if you look at that secondary asset, right? So we'll call it IHL-42X obstructive sleep apnea. That's our number one. That's our quarterback, okay? Now we have this wide receiver. The wide receiver is PSX-001, synthetic psilocybin. Oh, well, Brian, Compass Therapeutics, they're doing it too, blah, 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 blah. Here's why I'm so excited. So it's no longer about who's in phase 3 or who's in phase 2. We're in phase 2, by the way. And who's winning the race between Compass and between Inconex Healthcare. No, it's not about that anymore. Why? Because we found out from this study that, first of all, regulators are looking for integrity in the therapeutic community, because you cannot patent mushrooms. Mushrooms already exist. You cannot patent magic mushrooms. You can make synthetic psilocybin out of mushrooms. So no one's creating and no one's inventing a drug. We're just simply combining magic mushrooms or synthetic psilocybin with the utmost therapy, like the most ethical standard of therapy. And InConnex Healthcare has already partnered with and started to form this infrastructure with even brick and mortar locations and therapy locations specifically for these reasons. So what it's going to look like, it'll look something like you go in, you take your dose of medication. I'm not sure the exact dose right now. You got to read the paperwork for the science. And then while you're taking your dose of medication, you are under the supervision of a therapist and a clinician who is providing psychotherapy while you're under this altered consciousness. Now, why is that so exciting? That doesn't sound so exciting, because there's no race anymore. So when you take a look at it that way, only regulators are not looking. They don't care about. They're not trying. They don't care about if the drug is right. This and that. The drug is psilocybin. Nobody's going to win the race on synthetic psilocybin. What the FDA and what regulators care about is the combination therapeutic community, the training. And what they've done is they are training the therapists who actually take the psilocybin, and they are eradicating any objectivity or dual relationships. I guess I don't know what the scientific terms are, but anyway. The therapists and clinicians are actually being trained by taking the psilocybin themselves before treating the patients. This is going to be like a standard and a necessity, and I wouldn't say mandate, but anyway, the point I'm trying to make is there's no race. Everyone is alongside each other in this, and InConnex Healthcare happens to be way ahead of the game, creating partnerships and brick and mortar locations and therapy centers in Australia, and they're most likely going to move that model to the United States, Asia, Europe. And they're going to, and so this, while it may not seem like the most exciting asset, maybe it may just blow the doors off of all the other assets at some point. General anxiety disorder is a just under $10 billion addressable market. So a combination of all those three assets, and you're looking at about almost, very high estimate, 60 billion in addressable markets in the three combined assets, right? So lots of exciting stuff. Again, today, NVIDIA just blew a rocket through the roof of the earnings and reported 13 billion more than was expected, or something like that. Something insane. They're just blew earnings through the roof. This is very, very exciting because it's going to be the last day that you're going to buy anything on sale. So if you had your eyes on a stock, now's the time to buy it. Because tomorrow, I'm pretty sure the entire market's going to do an about face and flip bullish. And that includes our stock. That includes everything. I'm not confused about it. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Jensen Huang, but AI is everything. My own website, I use ChatGPT and I tell it to do my SEO for me, and it does it. It takes over my computer and it does all my SEO for my website. I tell it to do the descriptions for each item. It literally takes over my computer and chats. So of course AI is exploding. Of course there's massive guidance, and of course NVIDIA and big tech is not going to fail. It's too big to fail. It's going way too well to fail. And everything, all the doom and gloom narrative of like tech and the market and